Hello, my name is Angelica Davy, and I will be reading once again 99 Days by Katie Kataguno. And it is once again a middle school and or high school reading level. And I stopped last time at day 7, and I am continuing on day 7. I wake up early in the morning with a long lost, instantly undefinable itch in my body. I lie there underneath the duvet for a while and waiting to see if it will pass. The sun spins yellow through the window. The air smells cool and Star Lake wet. I snooze for 10 minutes. I reassess. Nope, still there. Finally, I get out of bed and pull an old ratty pair of leggings out the bottom dresser drawer, wincing when I realize how tight the waistband is now, cutting into the soft, mushy skin of my midsection. I grimace and set about untying the knots in the shoes of my sneakers that are literally a full year old. I'll probably drop dead after a quarter mile, wind up lying there like a fat, flattened raccoon on the side of the road, but I want to run. My mom's drinking coffee in the breakfast nook when I come downstairs, but wisely decides to not to comment on my sudden emergence from the third floor, towering, watching wordlessly as I clip Oscar's leather leash onto his collar. Be easy on him, will you? As she is all she says, probably the first time she's asked anyone to be easy on anyone else in her entire life. He doesn't get much exercise. Excuse me. Don't worry about it, I muttered, sticking my headphones into my ears and making for the back door. I wave at Alex, who's trimming the rhododendrons, and head down the driveway towards the street. Neither do I. I ran track all through middle and the first 3 years of high school. Sophomore year, Bristol tried to recruit me for their track team, which is how I found out about them to begin with. By the time I actually went to Tempe after everything happened, though, the longest, fastest run of my whole life, I was finished. I spent senior year parked on the bleachers, mostly motionless. Now I feel like a pale, doughy tin man creaking stiffly back to life. I make my way along the rocky bike path that's parallel to the Route 4, which eventually narrows and becomes Star Lake Road. Patrick and I used to run this route all the time. When it was warm like this, but also in the winter, the edges of the lake frozen over and snow coating the delicate looking branches of the pine tree overhead. He got a bright green pullover for Christmas sophomore year, and I remember watching him as he hoofed it through the drab gray landscape, standing out like some exotic bird. I watched him all the time. His fast, elegant body. Patrick and I were both serious enough runners back then, I suppose, but mostly our treks around the lake were an excuse to be alone. We'd been dating since the previous fall, but everything still felt new and exciting, secret, amazing, like anybody had ever lived it before us. Gabe told me he and Sophie Tabor went skinny dipping out here in the fall. He told me when we were done with the loop one afternoon, his bare hand reaching for my gloved one. I tucked both our hands into the pockets of my jacket to get warm. They did, I asked, distracted by the feeling of having him close. Then I wrinkled my nose. I don't you think skinny dipping is a gross phrase? There's something about it that's like off-putting to me, like moist or panties. Don't say panties, I ordered. Sorry. Patrick grinned at me, bumped his shoulders against mine as we followed the frozen curve of the lake. A weak hollow of sunlight peeked through the winter clouds. We should try it, though. What? I said blankly. Then skinny dipping? I looked at the hard crust of the snow covering the ground, then back at him. We should, huh? Well, not now, Patrick clarified, squeezing my hand inside my pocket. I like to get to graduation without my junk freezing off, thank you. But when it gets warmer, yeah, we should. I looked over at him in the chilly white light, intrigued and curious, a shiver skittering through me. So far, all we'd done was kiss. This summer, I agreed and popped up onto my toes to peck the corner of his mouth. Patrick turned his head and caught my face between two hands. Love you, he said quietly. I smiled. Love you back. I don't know if it's the memory or the physical exertion that knocks the wind out of me, but either way, it's less than one wheezy mile before Oscar and I have to stop and walk a bit. The roads are woodsy and winding back here, only an occasional car rolling by. The trees make a canopy over the blacktop, but still I'm sweating inside my V-neck t-shirt. The morning air is beginning to warm when we pass the turnoff for the Star Lake Lodge. I tug the leash on a whim, making my way down the familiar gravel path toward the clearing where the old resort slouches. The cats in the Catskill in the distance and the lake itself glittering at their feet. I worked at the Rumpled Lodge for 3 full summers before I left here, handing towels out lakeside and manning the register at the tiny gift shop of the lobby. A lot of people from school did, waiting tables in the dining room or teaching swim classes at the pool. Patrick and Julia would come visit between their shifts at the pizza place. Even Imogen tempted here a few months sophomore year. When French Roast was closed for renovations, it was fun in a shabby kind of way. A faded cabbage rose carpet and an old-fashioned elevator that hadn't worked since before I was born. The whole place was perpetually on the verge of closing, and it looks like it's exactly what finally happened. The main parking lot is deserted, and the front lawn is speckled with goose poop. The rocking chair on the sagging front porch sway creepily in the bridge coming off the water. There's a light on inside, though. When I try the main door, it swings wide open into the empty lobby full of the same faded floral print furniture I remember. I'm about to turn around and get out of there. It's spooky how abandoned this place seems when a little boy in light up sneakers darts through the lobby like something of the freaking Shining bouncing off one of the brocade sofas before careening away down the hallway that leads to the dining room. I gasp aloud. Fabian, what did I tell you about running in here? A tall, 30-ish woman in skinny jeans and an NYPD t-shirt strides into the lobby, stopping short when she finds me hovering in the doorway like a lurking freak. Oh, are you the new assistant? She asked me, glancing over her shoulder toward the hallway Fabian ran down. She sounds irritated. A riot of tight, springy curls surrounds her face. You're late. Oh no. I shake my head, embarrassed. It was weird of me to come in here. I don't know what I keep doing since I got back. Showing up one place after another where I'm not wanted is like my new hobby. I'm sorry, I used to work here. I didn't realize you were closed. Reopening this summer, the woman tells me. Whew, under new management, we were supposed to open Memorial Day. But that was a fantasy, if ever I've had one. I watch her take in my sweaty clothes and sneakers, my damp ponytail, my blotchy red face. What did you do? For one insane second, I think she's talking about Gabe and Patrick. That's how knee-jerk the guilt is. Like, even this total stranger can smell it on me. But then I realize she means when I worked here. And I explained. Really? She says, looking uninterested. Well, we're hiring personal assistant to the new owner. Actually, we hired one, but she's late. And here you are. I'm going to take that as a sign. That thing I do now, I take signs. It makes my kids really nervous. I smile. I can't help it. I definitely wasn't looking for a job, especially not one where it's entirely possible I'll run into a whole glut of people who hate me. But there's something about this lady that's winning that kindles the same look of anticipation I felt when I ran into Gabe at the gas station the other day. Who's the new owner? I asked. The woman grins back, bright and weary, like she's got a secret and really likes to share it. And she's glad that I'm here so she can. Me. She sticks one smooth brown hand out and shakes mine confident. Pennsylvania Jones. Call me Penn. Can you start tomorrow? My first trip at Penn's as Penn's assistant consists of mostly of locating the and complying the 1400 to-do list she made, and then lost all over the entire property, scribble on cocktail napkins at the bar, and tape the stainless steel fridge in the kitchen. I found one that just says chlorine scrawled on the activities chalkboard by the pool. By the time I'm pretty sure I'm found them all, I've filled 7 pages of old Star Lake Lodge stationery back and forth. My apologies. This is day 8 as well. Oh, for God's sake, Penny says when I knock on her office door and hand them over, her desk buried under a jumble of purchase orders and receipts. There's a trace of New York City in her exasperation voice. She and her kids, 6-year-old Fabian, plus a little girl named Desi, who can't be more than 4, said not one word the entire time I was in the room. Moved here from Brooklyn last spring. She told me this morning. She didn't say anything about their dad, and I didn't ask. Okay, I'll look at these after the staff meeting, all right? Come on, I told her everyone. 2 in the lobby. I meant to get donuts. Did I say that to you, or did I just languish in my brain all day? You told me. I promised, following her out the door of the office and down the dim wood paneled hallway. I ran out and picked them up at lunch. Oh, you're good, Penny says, but I'm not quite listening anymore. Frozen in the tall arched doorway to the lobby, a couple dozen people are crammed onto the chairs and couches around the big stone fireplace. Faces so familiar that for a moment I literally can't move. Elizabeth Reese, who was student council secretary 3 years running. Jake and Annie, who I've known since pre-K, who have been dating just about that long. She nudges him when she noticed me. Her immaculately tweezed eyebrows crawled clear up to her hairline. She makes a big show of turning away. I think of with a note on the windshield, dirty slut, and feel my skin prickle hotly, imagining everyone here somehow saw it too, or wrote it, or is thinking it, even if they didn't do it, either of those things. This is what it was like before I left. Julia once called my house phone and left a message pretending to be from Planned Parenthood saying my STD test had come back positive, and I remember being grateful to her when it happened because at least nobody witnessed that one but my mom. I deserved it. Maybe the way everybody seemed to turn on me as soon as the book and the article came out. I had some kind of social disease that was catching, but that doesn't mean I want to go through it again. If Penn notices people noticing me and they are a restless kind of weight shifting, a girl from my junior English class whispering something behind her, she doesn't let on. Did everyone get a donut? She begins. It's a fast meeting. Welcome to the new lodge and how to use the ancient time clock. I looked around to see who else is here. There's a middle-aged woman, Chef, and his younger, friendlier Sue, who I met this morning as they were prepping the kitchen, and the housekeepers who been airing the guest rooms, the old windows flung open wide. A trio of Julia's cheerleading friends are perched on the leather sofa, all in a row like birds on the wire. 3 identical French braids draped over their skinny shoulders. I work to keep my spine straight as I stand there in the corner, not to wither like an unnourished plant at their triplicate expressions of casual disdain. And one on the left looks right at me and mouths very clearly the word skank. I cross my arms, feeling totally grossly naked. I wanted to slither right out my skin. Afterward, I take my donut outside to the back porch, overlook the lake, picking at the sprinkles, trying to pull myself together. There's a girl about my age in shorts and sneakers, hosing down the lawn chairs, her red hair in a messy bun on top of her head. She startles when she sees me. Alarm painted all over her face. Crap, she says, checking her watch and looking back at me, pale eyebrows furrowing. Did I miss the meeting? I totally just missed the meeting, didn't I? Crap. Yeah, I tell her apologetically. It's probably okay, though. I think there's still donuts left. Well, in that case, she says, dropping the hose and climbing the steps and holding her hand out. Her skin is alabaster pale underneath the pink flush of sunburn. I'm Tess, she says, head lifeguard, or I guess I will be once anybody to swim here. For now, I'm just a hose when she wrinkles her nose. Sorry, that sounded like a lot less filthier in my head. Did you just start? I laugh out loud the first time all day and sound is sort of startling to me, unfamiliar. First shift, I tell her. Well, sort of. I'm Molly, I'm Penn's assistant. I explained to how I used to work here, that I moved away, and I'm just back for the summer. I take a big self-conscious bite of the donut when I'm through. Tess nods. That's why I didn't recognize you then, she says. I've only lived here like a year. I came in as a senior. She gestures at my donut. And there's really more of those inside. There are. I promise opening the flimsy screen door and following Tess back into the cool, dark lodge. Bear claws even. Tess snorts. I've got that going for me at least, she says. As we head through the old-fashioned dining room, hung with half-dozen dusty brass chandeliers, I don't know if I thought this was going to be glamorous or something, working at a hotel. My boyfriend's gone for the summer though. So I was basically like, give me all the hours you can. I'll just work all the time and have no social life. That's pretty much my plan too. I agree, glancing around for Julia's coven of nasty friends and leaving out the part where the whole no social life thing isn't exactly a choice. I let Tess already the last thing. I like Tess already. The last thing I want to do is identify myself, or worse, have somebody else identify me as her friendly neighbor, adulteress, and family ruiner. Where's your boyfriend? I asked instead. The lobby's cleared out by the time we get back in there. Tess picks up a glazed chocolate donut out of the box and takes a bite. He's in Colorado, she tells me with her mouth full, reaching for a napkin and swallowing. Sorry, I'm rude. He's doing some volunteer firefighter thing. I think he saw a Lifetime movie about smoke jumpers or something. I don't even know. She's joking, but I don't laugh this time. My heart is somewhere in a general vicinity of fading dining room carpet. Whatever's replaced it is cold, slimy, and wet inside my chest. He didn't see a Lifetime movie. I think dully he wanted to fight fire since we were little kids. Is your boyfriend? I start, then break off, unable to say it. She can't. There's no way. I mean, what's his? Tess smiles at me and easy and careless. There's a bit of a donut glaze on her upper lip. Patrick Donnelly, she says, the affection palpable in her voice, the way you talk about your favorite song or movie or person. Why, you know him? He was my best friend. He was my first love. I had sex with his big brother. I broke his freaking heart. Yeah, I say, finally reaching for another donut and forcing a weak jellyfish smile of my own. I do. There's a moment of silence, Tess still smiling, but her eyes gone cloudy and confused. Then I watch her figure it out. Molly, she says, like my name is the answer to a pie piece question in a tied game of Trivial Pursuit. Like she known it somewhere at the back of her head, but hadn't been able to come up with the word in time, like she lost. Wow, hi, I say, executing the world's most awkward wave, even though she's standing a foot away from me. Jesus Christ, why do I insist on leaving my house? I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be a weirdo. I didn't realize. Yeah, no, me neither. Tess swallows the rest of her donut like a shot of Jameson, wrinkling her nose and setting the balled up napkin down on an empty side table for a second. Neither of us talk. I imagine her calling Patrick in Colorado. I met your trashy ex-girlfriend this morning. I purposely don't imagine what he'll say in response. It was nice to meet you, I tell Tess, finally wanting to get out this lobby. Like I haven't wanted anything since I got here. I wonder if she's made friends with Julia. I wonder if she's helped egg my house. I was so stupid. I feel hopeful like that for a second. I was stupid of me to think to take this job at all. I guess I'll see you around. I guess so, Tess says, nodding, raising one hand in the awkward wave of her own as I head toward the hallway that leads to the kitchen. I imagine I can feel her behind me the rest of the whole afternoon. I'm sitting at the reservations desk in the lobby near the end of the shift, making a list of magazines, websites for us to advertise with, when the front door of the lodge swings open and Imogen walks in. Hey, she says when she spies me, clearly startled. She's got that same look from the coffee shop the other morning, like I've surprised her, and not in a good way. Are you working here again? I nod, tucking my wavy hair behind my head, trying for a smile. I hate how colossally awkward it feels between us, like puzzle pieces that got wet and warped and don't fit correctly at all anymore. Imogen never treated me like a pariah before I left. Grant opening in a couple weeks, I try. Anyway, games and fireworks, you here to sign up for a three-legged race? Imogen shakes her head, smiling, the kind of tolerant smile used on a little child who just asked if your refrigerator was running. I'm actually supposed to pick up my friend Tess. Her dress has buttons up the front and is printed with tiny sleeves. She works here too. We were going to get food and maybe drive over to Silverton and see a movie. I bit the inside of my cheek. Of course they're friends. Of course they would be. For a second, I think mainly of that movie, All About Eve, that my mom likes, where the young actress takes the other woman's whole identity. I meant Tess. I say, I'm dying to ask Imogen if she and Patrick are serious, if they've been together since last September, if he loves her more and better than he loved me. She's nice. You want to come with? Imogen asks, her voice high and uncertain. We're probably just going to dinner or something, but you could come with. God, that's not an invitation. If ever I've ever heard. That's a non-invitation if ever I've heard one. I've got some stuff to finish up here, I tell Imogen, shaking my head. I miss her, though. I can't deny that. When we were little, we always wore our hair exactly the same, but maybe we could get dinner sometime, just you and me catch up. I'll get cake and you could do my cards. Imogen's mom has been crazy for as long as I've known her. Imogen got a deck for her own for her 13th birthday. She used to read to me for me all the time, laying out the spread slow and carefully on my fluffy duvet, the quiet flipping sounds as she turned them over. 4 of swords, 7 of pentacles, the hangman, the sun. I always repaid her in German chocolate cake from the diner on Main Street, which I maintain is dry and crumbly and gross cake and diner both, but which Imogen loves beyond all others. She shrugs at the invitation, though, blunt bangs swinging as she shakes her head. I'm not really doing that so much anymore, she tells me. Cards, I mean, but sure, let's get dinner, absolutely. I'm about to suggest a day when we both spot Tess coming in across the lobby holding a piece of watermelon. Imogen's gone so fast I don't even get a chance to say goodbye. I gotta go, she calls over my shoulder. The door of the lodge thuds shut. Day 9. I'm whipped when I get back from the lodge the next afternoon, having spent the better part of my shift helping clear the old furniture out the dining room so the ugly old carpet can get ripped out this morning. I liked a lot, actually, because it meant nobody could talk to me. All I want is a shower following a face plant directly to my bed. But my mom's in the kitchen cutting up lemon slices to float in the green tea she drinks by the gallon whenever she's working on a book, wearing jeans and a silky tank top, barefoot on the hardwood. She grew up in this house, has walked these same creaky, wide plank floors since she was a baby. She was born in the master bedroom upstairs. I was born in a country hospital in Fargout, Tennessee, to a couple younger than I am who couldn't keep me. The night Molly came home was a staple bedtime story when I was a kid. I chose you, my mom liked to tell me, both of us tucked under the duvet, my small feet brushing her kneecaps and my hair a tangled mess over the pillow. She never was much for braids or bows. I chose you, Molly baby. All I wanted in the world was to be your mom. Diana Barlow, if nothing else, has ever lacked the imagination to craft a tall tale. Okay, possibly editorializing a little. Still, for somebody who wanted a baby so badly, it's always been kind of funny to me how empathetically not maternal my mom is. Not an ice queen, TV, flowers in the attic type kind of way. She was never mean or cruel. She always told me she loved me, and I believed her, but in a way where she was just kind of bored by kid stuff, Patrick and Julia and me yelling our heads off in the yard all day. It was like she'd woken up one day to find some foreign storybook creature living in her house with her, and she wasn't entirely sure what to do with it. Maybe that makes sense, though. After all, she wanted a baby, and the baby turned into, well, me. You're filthy, she observes now, dropping the lemons into the pitcher, sticking the whole outfit into the refrigerator. What do they have to have you doing over there, huh? Hog wrestling, mostly. My muscles are aching. I feel a glass water at the tap, waiting for it to run cold as I can get. She's done work on the kitchen since I left, different appliances and countertops, and I pulled the peanut butter from the pantry with its new sliding barn door. My mom hadn't written a book in 5 years when she stole my worst secret and turned it into a bestseller. The novel she put out before the summer girls was a giant flop. Not writing made her angry, and her stalking around the house like a zoo animal in a too small cage. I remember how glad I was when she disappeared into her office again my junior year, how happy she seemed to be back at work. I cleared the block she crowded, toasting me with the coffee cup one morning over breakfast. I had no idea she'd used me as a dynamite to do it. Oh, you're so funny, she says now, shaking her head and smacking at me a little. I mean it. I thought you were doing a personal assistant thing over there, not physical labor. I shrugged, taking a big gulp of water and fishing a spoon out the drawer. I'll do whatever she needs me to do. You don't have to be doing it at all, Molly. My mom turns to look at me. You don't have to spend the summer working. I told you that. It's your last summer before college. You should be spending it relaxing, not making hotel beds for $10 an hour. I'm not making hotel beds, I argue. But even if I was, you don't have to work at all, she encounters. And I have to make an actual effort to not roll my eyes at her. She used to ring this bell at the time when the book came out, and all holy hell broke loose, as if somehow her cannibalizing my darkest secrets was some generous act she did for my benefit. It's never seemed to occur to her the last thing I wanted was her payoff. The money is yours. That money is Emily Green's. I shoot back angrily. Emily's the heroine in Driftwood, some effortlessly beautiful sap caught in a dumb, turgid love triangle. A horrifying, funhouse version of me, gross and distorted, but still completely recognizable to anyone who cared even to look. I don't want it. Beat scampers out of the kitchen at the sound of our raised voices. I set the water glass down on the counter top hard enough that both of us flinch. I don't want it, I repeat, more quietly this time. My mother shakes her head, takes a deep breath, smelling pine trees and lake water through the open door. I try to remember if this place ever felt like home. And we will stop at day 10. But my questions for this reading: how could a person in middle school or even high school, like her age, cope with the ways that people are treating her? That's question one. Question number two is, if this was one of your friends, or if this was you in a predicament, how would you handle the situation, and why would you handle the situation the way that you did? And number three, number three would be, how would you allow yourself to forgive a loved one that put a story that you so confidentially told them to not be judged and to not feel any type of harm? How would you feel if they did this to you and put your story out as if you was just a basically just a book to write about and not one of their loved ones? How would you cope with that situation? And how would you talk to that loved one about the situation and how it made you feel? But that is the end of my reading. Thank you for listening.